Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Daniella Devine with us, and she is from San Francisco, born and raised in San Francisco, and has worked for most of her work life in San Francisco. Is that correct? So give
That's
us a little history of how you got into commercial real estate, given that background.
Oh my gosh. So I come from a small business family in the city and county of San Francisco. My family's had small businesses in the city since the 1960s. It's always been in flex industrial warehouse spaces because we do flooring. Now, in the flooring industry, there's no such thing as long-term survival without acquisition of space. Because if you think about it, a lot of folks that come to buy flooring, they come to a location, they feel comfortable with that location. But if that business then leaves, it can become very, very challenging to retain your client base.
Mm,
So real estate was always the forefront of my family's mind, not for wealth building, but for security, for survival in business.
right.
So I grew up sweeping warehouse floors and working with my dad in the shop, climbing towers of carpet, and went to UC Davis, got my master's degree at USF. Really, really, really wanted to work in large scale emergency management and disaster management. And I found myself actually interning with the director of Fleet Week, Mr. Louis Leuven. And that was an incredible experience that led to me being able to work at the Department of Emergency Management for the city and county of San Francisco for a few years. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I noticed a thing, Bruce, that maybe you can relate to, which is I had a really hard time with ceilings, with financial ceilings,
Ah,
with growth
yeah.
ceilings. And I was young and I was ambitious and I was kind of obnoxious about it. And I was really annoyed a lot of middle managers that didn't know how to contain me. So, um,
And
and
rightfully so. They need their doors pounded on.
it wasn't going to work for me there. And most emergency management is done in government organizations. And even though I went on to work at UCSF as a deputy director, I just sort of knew I couldn't survive. So a big part of my life in flooring has been acquisition of real estate, the management of real estate, because we worked in commercial accounts, right? So it's all
Yeah.
about massive property management, commercial turns, the whole kit and caboodle. And then my emergency management work was about protecting assets, how to protect real estate, how to protect the assets within real estate, human, environmental, structural, the whole thing, right? Because massive earthquake comes, what do we try to do? We try to protect and preserve. And so we deal with that in a proactive way, not in a reactive way. So, spent a long time working with my dad as his partner at our family flooring business. And, had a really brief and wonderful career in emergency management. And I started to do well in flooring. And I really needed somewhere to put the money because I was
Uh,
getting my butt kicked
yeah.
in taxes. And I started to learn a lot about real estate. And I'm a very risk-averse person. So I became a commercial broker to learn how to do it for other people so that I could mitigate my own risk, bird dog for myself, understand contracts and entitlements. I became a planning commissioner on the coast in my hometown of Pacifica so I could
Oh,
understand
wow.
development. And it's an advantage and a disadvantage, but I'm a bit of an ethnographer, which essentially, in layman's terms, is somebody that becomes obsessive about what they choose to learn about. So I had to learn everything. And here I am. I am an active commercial broker. I buy businesses and I buy commercial real estate. I just bought my family's flooring firm. I'm in the warehouse my dad owns right now. I am his tenant. I was his broker. So
All of the above.
I believe in verticals.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, I want one vertical to feed the other, or what the hell else am I doing with all my time?
So so all that is fantastic. I love it. So give me a little clue about what you think the current market is in San Francisco.
I will tell you, during the pandemic, I hated it here. It was so distressing. It was depressing. It was Night of the Living Dead. And I am not somebody that has no empathy for people that are suffering, for the homeless population, for people with mental issues or addiction issues. However, we really let it spin out of control and it became an unsafe environment. And we saw a place that we love dearly dismantle from the inside out. And it was terrifying, frankly. But
Yeah.
one thing my dad has always told me, born and raised in the Sunset, Reardon boy, San Francisco is a gold rush town. We boom, we bust, we come back again. And, we did the whole 90s.com thing in the industrial market here in Bayview, where warehouses were worth quadruple what they were
Oh, yeah.
worth. We got through '08, we got through the pandemic, and I swear to you, I go downtown now and there's a different energy. There's a different air percolating. I don't know if you follow leasing activity. I'm a retail broker, so I do a lot of leasing. I've noticed massive uptick in AI leases, office leases, 100 to 400,000 square feet.
Right.
Is directly indicative of what's happening. I've also noticed that luxury residential real estate is at an
Right.
all-time high here. So what we're seeing are people that said, I'm moving to Tahoe and working remote. It's the pandemic. Not
Yeah.
anymore. They're
No.
coming back, they're buying, they're renting, they're eating it at our establishments, they're buying flooring, because guess what you need when you come back into a space? An
Gotta have
office
a floor.
refresh.
Yeah.
So it's trickling down from retail office brokers closing and executing those leases down to tenant improvement, which is helping small businesses. It's feeding the trades. It's doing everything we need it to do. I'm incredibly optimistic.
So you obviously think we've hit the bottom of the trough and we're rolling up the other side.
In San Francisco, absolutely.
Yeah. Oakland's probably another 12 to 18 months behind that, but they're moving. They're starting to shake. So it's all good. So all right. So what are you really looking for out there? You said you've kind of moved to retail at this point. So what's your kind of prime retail location you might be looking to purchase?
I'm looking at, I mean, I'm like every other investor, right? Give me the value add, give me the fun. You
Yeah.
know, a
Yeah.
lot of you've got your stabilized folks that want the compressed caps and they just want to sleep and collect checks. And I'm a little bit more, I'm younger, I'm scrappier, and I'm a contractor. So I love the idea of some value add multifamily, some potentially some value add strip, some multi-tenant industrial. Industrial still really soft here in San Francisco. I'm hesitant to buy industrial because of that. I think it's going to be one of the last things to come back into the city. But some of the AI companies, what they're doing is they need industrial lab space, which is interesting.
Oh.
So, I think for me, I'm still young in the game of being a commercial investor, and I like to spread out my risk. And, multifamily, affordable housing, some of those things that I'm seeing through planning commission efforts and community planning efforts, it's a need that nobody can shake. And so that's something I probably feel more comfortable in. And because I do so much leasing with national credit tenants and franchisees and development, strip mall development, I feel comfortable about being able to stabilize a strip center. So that I have my eyes out.
You're looking, looking,
Yeah.
looking. So, what do you think about, I mean, the whole city is sort of coming back and things are starting to look pretty good. Interest rates are starting to creep down a little bit. So the whole thing is starting to gel. The idea of kind of moving forward looks pretty good right now. What do you, yeah, I mean, obviously you're looking for something great value add. Now, I am curious, are you actually a full contractor or are you just kind of a partial contractor?
I'm partial. So, I'm a commercial flooring contractor. We deal with commercial spaces, but my husband is a lifelong electrician.
Ah,
And all of our friends are in the trade.
oh, wow.
So, I feel really comfortable in my ability to handle what needs. I won't lie to you, Bruce. I don't want foundational issues. I'm not going
No,
to be replacing a
no,
roof,
right.
but, things that you would normally, be able to get in there and typically worry about, is this contractor being honest? Did they do a good job? I feel really covered. I'm very lucky in this market to have those resources, not so much outside of this market.
No, I think that's a fantastic combination to be able to buy property and have the ability to remodel and upgrade the property in a nice, proper way is so valuable in this marketplace. So, you think you are, how far and wide might you look for property?
I think Northern California,
Yeah,
want to be, I like in an ideal world, you want to be able to be 3 hours and get there in one day, deal with what you need to deal with, and turn around and come home if you have to. I
yeah.
do own property out of state,
Oh,
but I pay handsomely to have an operator. And so it's
yeah,
one of the, advantages, frankly, and disadvantages of having property out of state.
yeah, yeah. Well, you're in the car wash world, which has always been a fascination of mine. So tell me a little bit about that.
This was a funny one because one of my fellow commercial brokers that I follow on Instagram did a pitch. Like,
Oh,
oh, a boring business, da, 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 and she like hooked me. I was like, what is she talking about?
yeah.
And in our brokerage, we are not really allowed to sell businesses as commercial brokers. We have our business brokers that handle that end, but this
Right.
is a land and business acquisition. So I kept thinking to myself, well, how come she gets to do it? What the heck? Right? And
Yeah.
what was so fascinating about this was that it technically was no longer a registered business.
Oh,
The
really?
yeah, the FF&E was there. The landlord had a tenant using the FF&E for a auto detailing business.
Oh, wow.
And the landlord, the owner, just decided, I'm done. I want to roll up on this property. I'm going to evict the tenant. But he kept the car wash functioning until he sold it. So
Ah,
the risk was no records. I had
oh,
to
yeah.
piecemeal
Oh,
together utility bills and cash receipts and all these little things and hope and pray it was right.
right.
The gain was no records. So I bought it for probably, substantially less than it was worth.
Right, right.
And since then, my partner and I were actually approached by the operator that built it, who
Oh,
was now retired, sold his 25 car wash portfolio,
oh,
and
wow.
just wanted to futz around and continue to be our operator.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Dream,
Perfect.
dream situation. This does not happen. This is rare.
That's fantastic.
So he made the pitch. Can I stay on? This is what I provide. I built this car wash. I know how to X, Y, and Z. And so my Bruce, like my level of involvement with this car wash is once a week I get a text from him telling me how much we earned.
And I bet it's pretty good.
It does well. It does
Yeah.
well. And I mean, is it gonna change my life? No. But is it a wonderful, stable investment that another experienced operator has their arms around? Yes. And not only that, but when you know this, when you hire an operator, the hope is that they teach you,
Yeah,
right? They teach
right,
you more
right,
about the asset than you know because they know it. And
right.
it has been a wonderful gift. This gentleman is like, I had an extra bag of salt in my garage and I felt like the car wash needed this, so it's done. Thank you. Well, I noticed this, so I called the inspector that I know and I had him come over and, just wanted to let you know.
Just letting you know that everything's really good. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'm ever gonna have another investment quite like this one.
No, that one's a little bit of a dream scenario for sure. So anyway, well, we'll see how long you hold on to that. I want to know
I
whether you
know.
keep it forever.
Well, the broker that sold it to me is still slapping herself on the risk that she didn't buy it.
She's mad. She
She is. Every time I see her, she's like, that damn car wash.
I should have bought that thing. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
Well, sometimes you fall into it and it all works out. So
Sometimes.
it's really good. So, all right. So, what do you think? The future looks pretty rosy. What do you think the downside might be in the coming years?
Well, I think that there are some economic indicators that makes the future not so rosy, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of look at the Bay Area as a bubble, particularly San Francisco. We're one of the last major cities to crawl out of the pandemic in any real way. And I feel like if we do face another recession in the next couple of years, we'll be one of the last cities to come back into a recession because of it's like that slow rubber band effect, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not so optimistic as to say that, trouble's not ahead. I think we have a lot to get through politically in the next few years, and I really love what the current mayor is doing. I think it's really positive. Um, and I'm just going to keep putting my head down and working
All
because
right.
that's how you, right? Like that's how do you hedge against tough times?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should talk again in another 3 to 6 months and just see how our predictions are going here. See if there's
Right?
need, title changes or whatever's going on out there. All right. Well, let's keep in touch. In the meantime, we'll feed you some retail shops to purchase.
Let's do it. Thanks, Bruce.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye now.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.